Speaking of Ron DeSantis, his campaign has now lost 42% of its support. That is not a typo. That is not a mistake. We are going to look at the numbers right now. You might remember this is a Real Clear Politics average of polling in the 2024 Republican presidential race. The Ron DeSantis polling line is the green line down the middle of the screen. And what you will notice is that Ron DeSantis's polling peaked just over 31% in mid-January. This was the peak of his polling. And over time, Ron DeSantis has lost support in the Republican primary. That led to him being in the high 20s in early March, and then in the mid-20s in early April, and then down to around 20 in late May, and now at a new low. You have to go all the way back to July of last year, almost 13 months ago, for a point at which DeSantis had lower polling support in this primary. Going from 31.3% to 18%, that is a loss of 42% of his support. Now, the predominant narrative about DeSantis is increasingly that his campaign is over. And if you say, hey, do you think the guy who lost almost half of his support is all of a sudden going to be poised to win this nomination? Most people would say the answer is obviously not, particularly as we see Vivek Ramaswamy surging a little bit and debates coming up and DeSantis making no headway. The counterpoint that we could make to play, I don't know if it's devil's advocate or what it would be, but if we wanted to make a counterpoint about the DeSantis campaign being dead, the counterpoint would be, fine, he's lost 42% support, but he's still the only guy actually running a strong second place in any of the relevant early states who is positioned to take a lead if something were to happen to Donald Trump. Now, by something were to happen, I don't mean a health issue necessarily. I mean more likely a third, fourth, fifth, sixth indictment, the third of which may be coming this week, takes him off the campaign trail or whatever. At the same time, some people wrote to me yesterday and said, you know, David, even if Trump has so much support from the Republican electorate that even if an additional indictment took him off the campaign trail, I don't know that even that would hurt him. I think that there are voters who would vote for the guy if he was in prison. And I think that there is something to that. So is the DeSantis campaign likely dead after losing 42% support? Yeah, it's probably dead. Is that definitive? No. And this is an unprecedented primary, truly. A twice indicted, twice impeached former president who lost re-election running in what is now an open Republican primary. These are unique circumstances, very much unique circumstances. So I would not assume anything, but that's where the data is right now. One of our sponsors is Zippix nicotine toothpicks. Don't you think it's time you stopped putting smoke and vape oils in your lungs? Zippix toothpicks are a convenient way to curb the nicotine cravings. Zippix toothpicks are super discreet. You can use them anytime, anywhere smoking and vaping aren't allowed, including flights, sporting events, in restaurants. They're available in 6 different flavors with options of 2 and 3 milligrams of nicotine. If you're not a nicotine user, Zippix also offers caffeine and B12 infused toothpicks. Zippix has already helped tens of thousands of customers ditch the cigarettes, ditch the vapes. They might be able to help you too. If you're a smoker or a vapor, give Zippix toothpicks a try. Your lungs will thank you. Go to zippixtoothpicks.com today. Save 10% with the code PACMAN10 at checkout. Just remember, you must be 21 or older to order. The link is down below.